Hi, I'm John Waller, and this is my wife, Josie. And we want to talk about the story behind the song As For Me, and really the story behind what the Lord has done in our lives in the last year and a half. You know, the story behind the song is it's very interesting because you remember we were at a church in North Carolina.
Yeah,
And,
I remember very well. We were walking to the car, and I could just tell that something was wrong. You were really frustrated, and so of course when we got in the car, you just looked over at me and you said, "I am done." And I said, "You're done what?" And what did you say?
I said, I'm done building my own kingdom. I've been laboring so hard, I was frustrated because I really wanted to be established as a Christian artist. I wanted to be on the map. I wanted people to hear my music on the radio, which, you know, I had those things. I mean, God had given me those desires, but it's like it was never enough, you know, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I doing what I'm doing? I mean, who am I doing this for? Am I doing this solely for God, or am I doing this for myself? And I felt like, you know, I really have been striving to build my own kingdom versus building His, because when you build His, there's a sense of dying to self, of letting go, and there's a freedom, you know, that His yoke is easy, His burden is light. Yet I had a heavy yoke on me. I had a burden that I couldn't bear, and I remember not long after that, I got out of my record deal completely. We didn't know what the future held for us.
Wasn't that was the beginning of this year, 2010?
Well, it was the end of 2009, and then we went into 2010 not knowing what in the world we were going to do.
That was when we did a 21-day fast. We just felt like we really needed to seek the Lord about the steps in our ministry and just inquire of Him at every step. And so we used that time just to really press in, and He really did come through. And we're still seeing, you know, just fruit from that.
Well, I remember we were reading, we've been reading the one-year Bible for the last 2 years, and we've never quite made it through all the way yet, but we're still going. But at the time, we were reading about the children of Israel and how the Lord had promised them, and you know, as Moses led them out of Egypt, across the Red Sea, and just that 40 years in the wilderness, and we can relate to that because we felt like we've wandered in the wilderness many times. You know, a lot of that's from disobedience and not listening to God and not being stubborn. But we got the part where Joshua is going to lead them across the Jordan, and the story after story how Joshua led the people into these battles, and God would give these lands into their hand. He'd give the battle into their hand constantly. I just remember Achan being one of the characters who took what he shouldn't, and then it made Israel, all of a sudden they were losing the battles, and I realized that the Lord was calling us to get rid of anything that made us liable to the enemy, that made us liable to destruction. That He was calling me to tear down idols, and that became the whole deal when we went through this fast, as the Lord was revealing idol after idol. And you know what? Music was an idol for me. It just was. Christian music, you know, writing songs about God, singing about God, and standing on that stage was an idol in and of itself. And I had to tear that idol down and say, you know what, God, I'm not about this anymore. I release this back to You. I'm doing this for You. And so that's...
I remember the Lord He really took all of the different elements of their ministry down. He tore it down, and then He has slowly but for sure been building it back up, building our ministry back up from the ground up.
And when we finished that fast, I mean, we didn't see anything happen immediately, but it wasn't long after that we started seeing things fall into place, and the Lord provided for us to do this new album. He gave me the songs, and one of the songs that I feel like is the heart of this album is As For Me, which is based on Joshua 24:15. And Joshua says, choose this day whom you will serve, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And I think we came to that point where, you know what, we're going to tear the idols down, and we're going to declare that over our home, no matter what, we're going to serve the Lord, and we don't care what that looks like anymore. And so I wrote this song, and kind of our strategy for this new album is to give the song away. I mean, we want people to share in this declaration. This is the declaration of declarations. To say, you know what, I'm not going to worship other gods. I'm not going to put a God before you. I'm going to love you and you alone, and I'm going to worship you and you alone. And as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And so we're excited to see what God's going to do next. I mean, it's all walk of faith. So from the Waller family to your family, this song, As For Me, is a gift to you. And I pray that this will be a declaration that you can make and join us in putting a stake in the ground and saying, you know what, we're going to tear down every idol in our home and in our lives that competes with our love for God, and that we're going to serve Him, we're going to serve Him alone. So I pray that not only this song, but this album will bless you and will come alongside of you as you make these declarations to live for God.
So we just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video.
And may the Lord bless you and keep you and make His face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord raise His countenance upon you and give you peace. God bless.